if you're a woman, the biggest financial risk in 2026 you are going to face is not the inflation, the economy, not AI. It's being financially dependent on a man. Women not only earn less on average, they are also much more likely to face poverty or financial insecurity in retirement than men. Only about 43% of married women and only 32% of single women have enough retirement funds to retire comfortably. So women often earn less, they work often part-time, they are being way more often stay-at-home moms, they take career breaks and have fewer retirement savings. And that it directly reduces their choices, not even later in life, but also today. And financial dependence isn't just an economic issue, it's tied to real safety. So in the US, 85% of women who are financially dependent are not in the situation to leave an abusive relationship or marriage because they simply cannot support themselves financially, not even talking about children. So economic abuse, like being denied money, blocked from work or from bank accounts, or having their credit score ruined, affects millions of women every single day. And this is a topic we really need to change. And even if you're not dependent on a man right now, it's always a good idea to have a good retirement funding to be financially independent. And also when you're just having a shitty boss or you just want to leave a shitty situation, maybe you're still living with your family and you just want to leave. And financial independence is always giving you options, and options is what we need as women in this world today. So now that we know how urgent this topic is, and I know this conversation can make people very uncomfortable, but that is exactly why it matters so much. Let's dive into the details on how exactly it affects our daily life and how we can escape this financial trap. Before we dive into the details, let me be very clear that this video is definitely not an anti-man rage bite video. And I don't say that all men are doing this, but I know that statistically, this is a very big problem for a lot of women. And I just want to give you information to make informed decisions. This is not about blaming partners or blaming husbands. It's about risk management. Because we all know love is real, but life happens. Oh, Peachy Peach. My cat is also a girl and she has something to say as well. So what I already said, love is real, but money decides in the end how many options you have. And if nothing ever happens, that's perfectly fine. Then you can just enjoy your money together with your partner. But if something happens, then you did a good risk management. If you grew up in the 90s like I did, or maybe even earlier in the 80s or 70s, then we were taught that safety comes from a man. The man is better in finances. Men are better in mathematics. And safety comes from a stable job, a stable man, and a stable system. But none of these are guaranteed anymore in 2026. So jobs disappear faster than I can say aye. Health changes, not just your health, but also your husband's or partner's health. And relationships end. And security that depends on somebody else is not really security. So that's why we need to depend on ourselves. And I know that a lot of people will say, this is very unromantic, but it's very important that you listen to the steps I'm going to offer you during the next minutes. Real financial independence means you can support yourself, you understand your money, you know where it comes from and where it flows to, and you have your own income power and your own skills in your brain because nobody can take those skills away from you. So what does financial independence look like in real life? Let me give you some concrete examples you can implement in your life when you're living in a relationship. So if you're having children and if you take time off to stay home, you don't even have to have kids. Maybe you're just a stay-at-home girlfriend. But if you're taking off time to stay home, to support his career, to raise children, to keep the household upgoing, then that is definitely 100% labor. I know it's unpaid, and I know that a lot of us think that this is not worth a single cent, but let me tell you, it is. And labor deserves compensations, and love does not cancel economics. If he can build his wealth because you carry all the unpaid work, that's not just unfair, that's a financial trap for you. And then you deserve financial security in return from him. So concrete examples, this is what women really need to demand more from their man. This could be financial compensation for staying at home. That could just be a monthly payment your husband is putting on a separate retirement account, which only you have access to, or a prenuptial agreement, and you need to be fully involved in financial decisions. If your partner is telling you, oh my God, prenup is so unromantic, then you can always say, isn't it more romantic when I stay with you because I want to and not because I have to? So maybe that is changing his directions. And if he really doesn't want a prenup and wants to keep you in financial dependence, then I hate to break it to you, but then he doesn't love you as a loving wife, then he wants to have a free mate. You need to be fully involved in all the financial decisions that he's making for your family. If you don't know what he's talking about, then get financially literate. in the library, you can get so many free information and books. Just go to the library, get a library card, and you can borrow all the good books that will help you get so much more financially literate than your man can actually be. And when he's making decisions, then you can always ask, hey, I read something about it and I don't think that this is a good idea. And it gives you so much more empowerment when you know what's going on and when you have it in control. Maybe when you were raised in the 80s or 90s, as I was, then we have always been told that men are better in finances, men should have the finances under control, and this is bullshit. Actually, studies show that women are the smarter investors and that we can get more dividends out of the money. So it might be a better idea to learn it. Another thing is you always need to have access to your own credit cards or bank accounts. Never let a partner take control over all of the finances so that you can't access anything. You need either your own bank account or you need access to the shared bank account, and he can't close it or withdraw a lot of money without your consent. Because if someone can feed you, they can also starve you, and you don't want to be in that trap where somebody is using financial violence against you. And I know what some of you are thinking right now. We can't afford my husband to put some of our money to a single retirement account for myself. Then I hate to break it to you again, but then you're not in the situation to stay at home. You can still decide on staying home even if you can't afford it, but then you have to be aware of the risk. And I feel like that a lot of women are not aware of the risk they are taking. And if you can't really afford staying at home, you are the one in the end that is carrying all the disadvantages. Your husband is going to be fine. He's the one working. He has all the expertise and all the work experience after a couple of years, but you don't have those experiences after a couple of years, and you are the one carrying the risk. If you are saying, this is fine, I'm going to take the risk, then you do you. But be informed and stay informed and make your own wise decision. And if you can't afford it, then keep a job. Do a 10-hour job a week just to keep up with all the things that are going on in your industry so that you are not coming back to a job after 10 years without any experience. Always keep an eye on your job market, or have a side business, like go on a walk with dogs in your neighborhood. Try to generate some side income so that you're not fully dependent on your husband's work experience. Because we all know love is wonderful and it can work out so great, but life happens. Illness happens, divorce happens, cheating happens, all of this happens, and it happens more often than you would think. So the second thing you should consider to take your finances back is increase your skills, because this is something nobody can take away from you, especially not after a divorce or after leaving a shitty job. So finishing your education, doing a continuing education, or just reading more books, doing a side job to increase your skills in a new field. This is all building your assets that you can always take with you. Or you could even start a whole business based on your skills, become a personal brand. Think about what is the one thing I'm really good at? What is your expertise? What would people pay me for? Even if it's just a couple of hours per week, it would make a huge difference, not just in financial terms, but also for your self-worth and self-consciousness. So I'm not talking about taking on another burning out job, but rather investing in skills and expertise in something you really love and what you can always do throughout your whole life. Then you can always say, oh, this job or this husband didn't work out, but I can always come back to those core skills I accumulated over the years. So you already see the real transformation is not really financial, it's more psychological. You have to change your mindset from I trust him and I hope this works out to this will work out because I took care of it. And that's power and that's peace and that's real financial freedom. If you've been listening to this and think, oh my God, yes, there are so many points I've been doing and I feel a little bit financially trapped, or on the other hand, you're financially fine, but you want more, then subscribe all of my channels, because I'm all about financial freedom for women and about how you can make more out of the skills and talents you already have to live finally the financially abundant life you really deserve. So thanks for listening. Take back your finances, ladies, and we will see each other in the next video.